Okay, this might sound a little out of character, but I love playing sports. I might not be that great at them, but there's almost nothing better than running down a field at full speed, really pushing your athletic abilities. But when it comes to sports video games, most of them make me feel bored and uninterested. It seems easy, right? Just take the sport from real life and put it into a digital, controllable format. However, most of the time these games lack the fundamental element that makes sports fun. But with all genres, there is one exception. One sports game rises above the rest by capturing the essence of the activity it derives itself from. And that game is Rocket League. Hi, I'm Slightly In-Depth Gaming, and let's get slightly more active. Before we get into why Rocket League is a standout example of a sports game, we need to examine where games like FIFA and Madden misstep. I'm gonna be using soccer here as my example, because it's my favorite sport to play as well as the one I'm most familiar with. Also, I would make a joke about gamers not knowing what sports are, but apparently 3% of my audience is from Brazil, so you guys should know a thing or two about soccer. Games like FIFA tend to copy their base sport down to an exact science. You can practically perform any move you can do in real life, but none of these actions feel satisfying. Is it because the sport is being played with a bunch of button presses instead of your entire body? Maybe, but I think it goes a bit deeper than that. In soccer, making a goal is the effort of your entire team. In a perfect scenario, your defense clears the ball up the field, your midfielders take it up near the goal, and the forwards shoot the ball and score. In reality, however, this situation really doesn't happen flawlessly. Obviously, the opposing team exists to stop the ball. But you can also have small things, like a player losing control of their dribble, or someone could get tired and not play at their best. And sometimes, a player will do anything to win. This element, this human element, feels completely removed from sports games. Sure, you can make mistakes, but they're always so drastic. Your player will kick the ball straight into the enemy team if he gets the chance, but he refuses to accidentally trip over his feet. Going further, I think team sports suffer even more in this format. In my opinion, half of the fun of a team sport comes from that communication between you and your teammates. Especially in lower levels of competition, on a team you generally have 11 dudes with massive egos trying to look good so they can get more orange slices at halftime. You're gonna miss some signals, and sometimes you're gonna have to play with someone you don't necessarily like, which makes those moments where you actually pull off something cool that much more special. Traditional sports games remove the social and human elements that make real sports fun. All I'm saying is that these are not bad games. However, playing as famous white man Tom Brady does not come close to capturing the spirit of the sport they're trying to imitate. And then, you have Rocket League. Rocket League is the closest attempt video games have ever gotten to actually capturing the spirit of real sports. At first glance, it doesn't seem like it. You play as a car, who can boost, jump, and drive up walls. On the surface, it shares very little from the sport it seems to be borrowing from, only taking the ball and the goal from soccer. But that is the critical difference. Unlike other sports games, Rocket League doesn't physically borrow that much from its sport, but it instead captures the literal essence of soccer. First of all, it adds the team element back. When you play with randoms, not only are you playing with people you don't like, but people you've literally never met. It's up to RNG to decide whether your teammates are as bad as you or just toxic. But as a former League of Legends player, I'm used to having unspeakable acts performed upon my mother and my 12 new siblings. The amount of communication you have available to you in Rocket League is even less than in real life, as you can't really see where your teammates are in a close quarters scenario. You'll constantly bump into your team and miss shots. You'll pass it down to someone who's lagging, and most of the time, you and your partners are just bad at the game. Which brings me to my next point. Rocket League is actually pretty hard to get into. The trailers and tutorial make it seem so easy, but 9 times out of 10, when you go to make a cool play, you run straight into a wall. Your car controls perfectly, but in the heat of the moment, I'll forget how to make sharp turns or even how to back up. Even once you manage to hit the ball, it probably went in the complete opposite direction you may have wanted. Each game feels different from the last. The tides can turn on a possession in a second if somebody manages to knock it down the field, and it becomes a crazy scramble of who can boost the fastest to catch up with the ball. You'll drive all the way on top of the ceiling to hit the ball, just for it to end up in your own goal. It's hectic, it's unplanned, it's imperfect, but most importantly, it's soccer. Rocket League is able to capture those human emotions that are often missing from most sports games. And even if it is played with cars, this is without a doubt the most faithful adaptation of a sport we've ever gotten in a video game. Rocket League shows us that a game doesn't have to directly adapt a sport for it to be a faithful sports video game. In fact, through its weird premise and intense gameplay, it captures the spirit of soccer better than most yearly franchises. We need more titles that are willing to push these boundaries in the sports genre. There has certainly been some other standout titles, such as Lethal League for baseball, and Mario Strikers Charge for gang violence. But for now, instead of capturing the physical form of a sport, I hope more sports games will really try to capture those feelings that make sports so fun to play in the first place. Seriously, who's watching from Brazil? I gotta know. Hey guys, I don't have much to say this time, but as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!